bought the entire Adobe suite like years ago. I'm like, I'm gonna buy the whole thing and I'm gonna like, that'll force me to learn. And all of a sudden I read my email like, fuck, I have to renew and I didn't do shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
What were you asking about?
The AI?
Yeah.
I wasn't asking anything about it. I was just, testing it.
he's been on other podcasts.
Hobby Craftsman came through. Hobby Craftsman came through Strong Beer, and they were asking brewers questions that were all generated through Chat GPT.
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
And so when they came up to me, they knew that I was going to give them shit on it, and so they didn't tell me anything at first. And then I told them, I was like, if this is where you guys are at as a podcast, like, if you can't even make your own questions anymore, you're in trouble. And, they're
I know it's just a fun thing to try it out.
Yeah. So people are used to having our full production thing, and my first inclination was like, I'm gonna bring everything in our studio, set it up, and ask Mike Matt for like 5,000 extension cords and all that stuff.
Right.
This is our lightweight.
This is our lightweight.
This is our lightweight setup, and it's gonna get even lighter because I'm gonna test it out. I'm going to the North Rim. I'm gonna test it out, do a few recordings, and then in a couple weeks I'm going to Belgium, and then I really need like lean mean.
Andrew said you guys did a zip line across the Grand Canyon.
No, I said they were doing Evil
Oh, wait,
Kingdom
Evil on your scooter.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this is a test, but we're here at the Beer Research Institute. Familiar face for us is Matt, but we have a new brewer.
Yeah. So we have Nick
Nick has no last name.
Nick Urbane, and Nick's been with us now for about a month and a half. Came to us from some great breweries, Minnesota, as well as here locally, Arizona Wilderness, Helton, and The Shop most recently. Been with us for, like I said, about 6 weeks now, and he's just absolutely knocking it out of the park.
So it's R-O-B-A-I-N?
R-E-B-A-N-E.
Urbane.
We're gonna put that right across the bottom of this thing, and be able to spell that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Nick Romaine Lettuce Master.
No.
Okay.
Not the lettuce. No.
Devil's lettuce.
No, that's the beer that they did over at the shop.
Yeah.
With Dark Sky.
Right.
Which we gotta get something going with them for sure.
Yeah.
But
We'll get with Brian on the show. And with the boys over the show.
yeah. Definitely.
So we
Well,
don't.
what's going on? What do you guys want to talk about today?
We don't usually do.
We got Nick out of the way.
Or we're gonna ask him a lot of questions because we don't know anything about him.
Okay.
Right? But I mean, we don't usually do this like tell your whole origin story.
Sure.
Just pick a point in time and tell me an interesting thing that's going on and how that's really shaping. Maybe besides the obvious thing that I read on Facebook, maybe something else.
Well, I think everything. Would you like me to avoid that for the moment, or?
You can say whatever you want.
So I think like right now we're at a new chapter with BRI, and it's fun, it's exciting, and I think anybody that's been paying attention or that knows us has seen us go through a few different phases, and we had obviously when we opened we're brewery number 34 in the state, and 120 plus now.
Andrew, how many?
What's the number? Where are we at?
We have 127 brewing companies, 157 brewery locations, and 169
Things with a beer sign
publicly
on it.
open, yes.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So that means that over 100 brewery locations have opened since we opened our doors. So that's amazing. it's amazing to see the growth, and then we evolved through that as well. When we opened BRI, our intention here was just to be a small neighborhood brew pub. I wanted to come in here and make dope food and dope beer every day, serve our guests, make an amazing experience, and go home and sleep in my bed with my wife every night. That is what I wanted to do instead of being out on the road traveling so much. And so, a couple years into that, we start to see a lot of interest in our company and our product, and it's very flattering. And people wanted to have our beer on draft at their bar or restaurant. And, at first it was again like super flattering, and we loved to accommodate the few people that we knew and we were close with, and so we did, and then that started to snowball, and we got to a point very quickly where on our little 2,500 square foot operation in our 5-barrel brew house with 25 barrels of fermentation, we didn't have enough fermentation to keep ourselves in supply, and we're still trying to accommodate, because again, at that stage in evolution, it's extremely flattering, and you want to accommodate. It's a huge ego stroke, but also like when you go in one of your favorite places, your beer's on tap, like, what's better than that, especially as a startup. So then we decided to expand. We took another 2,500 square feet, and we expanded our brewery from 5-barrel brew house to a 7-barrel brew house, and went from 25 barrels of fermentation to 110 barrels of fermentation. And we started to grow pretty rapidly, and small little funsy barrel program, and that more morphed out of the pandemic than anything else. So we got phase 1, we got phase 2 with the expansion and growth. Phase 3 is, I think, us like absolutely wondering if we were going to survive day to day through the pandemic, and having to retool our entire business model. What we did every single day while still holding true to our ethos. And that was extremely challenging, one of the most difficult things I've ever done in life. Coming out of that, we were able to open our second location and open our tap room and arcade in downtown Mesa. This is phase 3, and today we're moving into phase 4, chapter 4, which is finally wrap my head around the fact that if we want to grow, if we want to go back into momentum again and start going in the right direction, that we needed to have a very talented, skilled brewer on deck that could lead our brewing program, take it in a new direction, and then B is that we needed to get out into the market. Over the last 2 years, we've really focused on our own locations and taken care of a very few small, select, ride or die accounts. And now what we're going to be doing is when we shift gears, and today we announced our partnership with Will Distributing, and it's a huge move for us. It's something that I adamantly said for years, and I know you know this, Andrew, I would never do. I always wanted to keep this brand local, independent, and with us managing not only the production, but the delivery and the sales of the brand. I wanted to use our company to create those jobs and have people in those places to be able to do it. And the reality is that a small concept like ours, I can't have the kind of sales force or footprint that a company like Will has. And again, just as we shift into chapter 4, it's the right thing to do, and it's the right time, and I'm absolutely excited about it. And I love saying never, and I love breaking those numbers.
Sales and delivery even on the scale of 5 employees.
That can be challenging.
Can be very challenging.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
If you can have one salesperson for doing that, but you're going to have more heads, you're going to have something to deliver them, some people delivering a schedule. You're going to pick those heads back up. You're going to have to worry about where did it go? I don't know. Is it
Sure.
that post open? Did that close? You got 4 heads over there?
It's a tremendous amount of physical work, and then it's a tremendous amount to just manage. And we've tried it a couple times. We've tried it for a few years, and you know what? I think for the approach that we took to it and what we were doing, I think we did a great job in that space. But it's also limited. One beer rep cannot even cover the entire valley effectively. There's always going to be accounts that just don't get the attention. And there's only so many hours in a day. This is a sprawling metropolis. There's only so much you can do. So it's one of those things we tried for a while, and it just, it didn't work out for us. And I was very optimistic that it would work out for us. And I guess where we sit today is that we know that we make great beer. We know that our consumers love what we do and love our brand positioning and who we are as a company, and the experience that they have here. They love our beer, and they want it, and they want it at some of their other favorite places that are closer to their locale. And so we do two things. We can either ignore that and not take care of that customer and leave a lot of our tanks empty, or we can start filling our tanks and we can get beer out to the people, which is what we're here to do.
I'm glad you said I don't want to do this. I'm only doing this. I'm only doing this, and then you change plans and you say I am not going to do this. And it just exemplifies to me when I tell people you can't pay crews at the same brush. They don't all go in the same ways, and literally taking a step to the distributor is like starting a completely different business. And so you say no until the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And some people
A lot of times no is just no, not right now.
I do like saying we're like, oh, you remember when you told me you were never going to have a flagship brewery? Guess what? You didn't have any control over it. It just happens.
Sure.
In other cases, it's managed growth and getting to a point of what's our next step.
And I very much, and by design, like BRI has grown very methodically and organically. Andrew's been super close to our growth since day one. It's planned out. It's slow, methodical growth, and again, I'm at the right place in the right time right now for our company's history and evolution. That this is the next logical step, and I feel great about it. I genuinely do. And I love it when you can. I love it when people are flexible enough to change their mind or to naturally evolve or to see something that they didn't see before, recognize that and then move on it. And that's really where we're at. I'm almost 9 years in on this. We are not the same company we were the day we opened. I'm not the same person I was the day we opened. And so, man, I got people to feed and I got bills to pay, and like our staff, they want our business to grow. It benefits them as well in their livelihoods, and we just want to feed everybody. And so, growth is a great opportunity to create new opportunities for everybody that's on the team, and maybe bring some new people in, create opportunities for them as well. Nick's a prime example of that. Like, Nick had a great setup of where he was, and he was thriving, and he had a better long-term opportunity in this position in the way we handle business here. And so it's an amazing growth opportunity.
Well, clearly you brought him in to tell your story.
Yeah. Well, that's his job. Secretly, I make the beer, he tells the story.
Yeah. No. But I do want to. I want to dig in there. I want to ask you about your experience in Minnesota. I'm assuming Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minneapolis. So I got my foot in the door just. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I got my foot in the door just being an annoying patron at a brewery, and one day the taproom manager's like, "Hey, you look like you can lift kegs, so you want to deliver beer?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I just started doing that, and then taking on more and more stuff voluntarily, like doing the shit that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, you can swear. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. And then, in turn, started applying for full-time jobs and became packaging and distribution manager for Omni Brewing in Minnesota. It's Maple Grove. And from there, I became the production manager, like just running everything, ordering everything, making sure everything's going good. I learned how to brew from a professional brewer before I was home brewing. Like, all these things just kind of played out.
Backwards.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
backwards.
Yeah.
What year was this roughly?
6 years ago? 2016?
Pandemic math hard.
Yeah.
like
It was.
There's missing time in there.
Yeah. So probably
So that's like
2016.
15 years in real time.
Yeah, 2016 is when I got into the industry and got my foot in the door to start developing it, and then just pushed my way in. And then came out here and
What circumstances led you to go like, I don't mind being comfortable in the summer. I want to come here where it's
so I love this place. I've got family out here, and I actually came out here August of 2020, and like went on vacation and still loved it. Like I was like, okay, I can still do this.
Cool. That was
Yeah.
a record year like this.
Yeah, it was.
So, hey.
It was crazy.
Lots
And
of
I was like, I
records
still
set
love
that
it.
year.
And like the first time I was like, I'm gonna live in Arizona at some point in my life. Second time I was like, I want to live in Arizona now. So I just started applying, and Wilderness happened to have an opening for lead cellarman. Essentially, went through that process. I would never recommend moving across the country. It's not fun.
I think most of us have.
All of us have done
Yeah,
that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Once.
It's yeah.
Just never go back.
Driving through Kansas sucks. Sorry, Kansas. If anybody's listening.
This is not usually listening.
Yeah, but
Kansas
gotta
has
say
left the
sorry.
chat.
It was a whirlwind, and got out here, started working at Wilderness. I had thrown my hat in the ring for a job at Helton at the same similar time frame, and ended up it worked out better in life for me to go there and work there for about 8 months to a year, somewhere in that range.
Working directly with Rob.
We're directly with Rob, head brewer over at Tombstone. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rob Coate. Great guy. And I got to actually, any of the places that I worked before, I could have walked in, I could have brewed if I had to. I wasn't technically trained on any of, I was technically trained on the systems.
Right.
I could have done it. I know what I'm doing. It was never a direct responsibility. I stepped in at Helton and I said, hey, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to run your canning line for you. And then when I'm not doing that, I want to brew. And Rob saw my drive and really kind of gave me the opportunity to run with it. And we were like great team together.
Cool.
So then Rob left and it wasn't the same. So I just decided I was going to check out my other opportunities and went to the shop and took on running their canning line for them, which at that time they were just blowing up
Yeah.
in the packaging department.
Yeah, that was a non-stop line, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was nonstop. It was crazy. And then I pushed my way, and they had just bought a 3-barrel pilot system from Historic. And the day I walked in, I said, it wasn't even set up, it wasn't cleaned or anything. I was like, I'll clean it, I'll get it ready. And so I just kind of I started doing everything for it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that system like me.
Exactly,
my baby
exactly,
right here.
exactly. And it was,
It's
it was.
mine now.
And it was, and
The captain.
I am the captain now. So did that. I approached Dave, the owner of the shop, one of the owners of the shop, and I was just like, hey, I've got this beer I want to brew. It went really well. The brew day went super smooth. Everything turned out great. The beer turned out fantastic. And he approached me. He's like, hey, do you want to take this on as you're the lead on it? And I'm like, absolutely. So for about a year and a half, I was the head of R&D brewing. So
Cool.
yeah, it was a blast. We got to do a lot of fun stuff. I got to do a collab with Ad Astra. Those guys are awesome. Got to do a collab. Well, technically not a collab. It was a brew with the Ash Brewers.
Oh, yeah.
There's this Arizona Society of Home Brewers, and
You know those guys.
Yeah, been around.
took third on our Czech lager.
They're assholes.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty awesome. It was fun to take home a medal. Medals are awesome, but
Yeah.
I just want to make great beer.
Cool.
That's really all I'm in
You're
for.
the puzzle piece here that's gonna fill the capacity of all those requests and pallets
Yeah.
of beer.
Speaking of cans, saw some canning happening there the other day. Is that part of this whole distribution thing?
Yeah, so we are absolutely ramping up our canning. We're in need of a quail. They want basically whatever we have to offer in our portfolio. So we're starting off with our core lineup, which is, as you know, 480G, Vomnos, Urban Art, Morning Sex are what we're considering our cores. Wally's definitely a core beer here for the brewery. It's never performed very well out in the market. I don't know if it's that people don't get it or they're intimidated by giant Belgian blondes. I don't know. But we do, it's usually in our annual top 3 here. There's been just a very few culinary focused restaurants that carry it, and it seems to be a perfect fit. So we're not really focusing on Lolly so much. We'll keep it here. We'll continue brewing it, but in terms of distribution, it's not. We're not going to consider that in the core lineup. And then from there, so Slims, half barrels, cans on all those, and then as anybody that knows us knows, we do some pretty significant seasonal releases, and then are constantly turning series of one-offs. So we'll be focusing on the seasonal releases with Quail, and then we'll keep the lion's share of our one-off releases. But then we will also make every attempt we can to share a few of those out into the market with Quail, so they can get those to the the top tier accounts that really want that and need it and earn it. And so,
Is there a limit on the distribution that they're going to be providing you, or is it statewide?
the state of Arizona.
Wow, cool.
So it's my understanding right now that they cover the entire state. I think there may be one or two very, very remote sections that they don't, but we should be represented in every county.
Cool.
Yeah, not too shabby. I can't do that myself. Nick and I can't do that together.
It's a lot of
Nick
tires.
And Grant can't do that together. So there's just, they have 12 sales reps, and they've got obviously, Quail has an amazing reputation throughout the state. The people that work and interact with them hold them in high regard. I think that, when a company our size is looking at a distributor, there's a good handful of choices. But then strategically, I can be a medium-sized fish in their medium pond, or if I went with some of the other distributors, I'd be the tiniest little fish in a giant pond. And I don't think there's any possible way, and this isn't anything negative against any of the other distributors. I just think mathematically, it would be impossible for them to give my brand the attention that our brand would.
Coming from that, there's no competing with those bigger brands in those bigger distributors.
Right.
You either provide the beer or you lose your tap handle. And
And
I've worked with those.
And then as a distributor rep, obviously, you're working a commission check. You need to earn the money that pays your bills. And so if there's incentives or there's high volume with other manufacturers, that's where. And everybody can say no, we approach everything equally. The reality is that you gotta get paid. And so if we're just this little tiny speck in a giant pond, there's no way that we could ever get a representation.
So a little bit of what you mean is at some larger breweries, they can do sales incentives for their reps and say, if you put on 10 more handles, you get a trip to visit the brewery.
Sure.
Whereas smaller breweries, especially local breweries, just don't have the capital to be able to provide those kinds of incentives.
There's not that kind of marketing capital in a small company. Right?
So if that's common with larger breweries, then you can really, really lose out on the opportunity to be featured.
I'm not sure it's so much that. I think it's the sales reps are going to sell the beer that they have available. If they can't have that beer available, then it's what's the point, right?
Yeah, sure.
You're guaranteed so much beer a week, and then it's okay, I want to sell your product, but
I don't have it,
so then I have to sell this other product, and then you lost this account for that product. So it's just a constant battle trying to make more beer, and if you can only produce X amount of beer in a year, it doesn't make any sense to go with X distributor, the big
giant house.
Yeah,
It's definitely a balancing act. One of the sales people that we all know that's been in the state for many, many years, Teddy Golden, his card said beer traffic controller, and I was like, it sounds like a cool job title because you can make up your own job title.
Sure.
But it is actually literally true because, I can tell you how many, new sales people say, oh yeah, I sold everything that, we're sold out. It's actually not a great thing because the next order is no, you can't have it. So it's managing and saying, hey, you want 2 kegs, but let me sell you 1, and
right.
I will always get you. But if you do 2, then I'm shorting somebody else. There are brands that went on fire, and then people couldn't get them, and so the next thing they did was they start hoarding it. So that's why you saw stacks of product in grocery stores because they wanted to order it all, and they just sat. I mean, you know, like the first couple rows get peeled off, and then no one wants to stoop down. They'll go to the next thing. So it's managing that, and when you you know, you have an airplane that only flies so many people, you want to maximize that. You don't want to necessarily buy another airplane until you're ready to fill it.
Yeah.
You know?
Really well put.
So I think that like with their distribution footprint and with our ability to produce, you know, because we have a small footprint, and, you know, we can only make so much beer at any given moment and have it available. Scarcity is not necessarily a bad thing, but everything has to be consistent, right? And so there has to be a consistent flow of liquid out the door to them, so that people that want it can have access to it. And then we have to work with them, like just directly to your point. No, one account can't order 10 kegs of this. Like, please manage that and make sure that there's enough to go around and handle those accounts. Because, and again, I don't mind a bit of scarcity, and not manufactured scarcity, not to drive up demand or anything. But you know, the reality is that we have a whole new learning curve to go through right now in terms of, you know, I know what it looks like to supply the East Valley. I know what it looks like to supply the people that we can reach physically or by phone or email or whatever in the Phoenix market. I know what that looks like. I don't know what it looks like to contact every, you know, liquor license in the state of Arizona and say, hey, we have a new product. The reality is that in the first couple months, you know, there's going to be some people that want product that aren't going to be able to get it. And then we will be as diligent as we can to very methodically increase our volumes so that we can start meeting the demand. But we don't know what that demand is right now.
Sure.
I expect it to be significantly higher than what we've ever seen before, just mathematically. But again, it's we're entering a whole new chapter, and it's exciting, and it's also scary as hell. And we can't wait, right?
Yeah. You got to punch through that honeymoon phase because people are going to over-order it. There's going to be some enthusiasm, and then I mean, you'll work on a plan.
Yeah.
with
We're
them.
really working with Quail closely just to make sure that we provide the best quality product too. Like, we don't want that stuff to sit on the floor for 2 weeks. Obviously, we know time and temperature of beer's worth anything. You know, so we're trying to provide the best product possible. Like, quality-driven product is what's going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Excellent. I need another beer, so if we want to take a break, I'm all for
Can we take
it.
a pause and get a beer?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Awesome. We don't actually shut anything
We
down.
don't pause anything. We just
But we just,
pause.
now I got to edit all
Bob
this
gets
out.
to do everything.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Whatever I had was excellent, so
What'd you have?
I don't even
We
know.
had the Carvina. Check bills.
Oh, there you go.
Heyo.
I like
And
it.
Andrew had the Radiant Glow.
Oh yeah, you like it?
Hell yeah.
Very good, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nick makes beer.
What is it that I had? The name of this again is Trap Bills?
Carvina.
Carvina? With E.
Carvina.
Carvina.
Carvana. It's where you
No, it's not Carvana.
It's where you order
We're
your
not
cars.
selling you somebody else's car.
That was in a flood. Wait, what? Uh-oh.
If you drink too many of those beers,
So,
you have to lay off
Carvina.
all of your employees.
It's Carvina. Carvina is.
I did.
Guys, having a super important conversation here.
Car-
It's not
car-
a beer.
Carvina is a city in Czech Republic.
Right.
Formerly Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us older folks.
Right. Formerly the Ottoman Empire. Okay, go on.
I'm
Was it
a,
Carvina during the Ottoman Empire or a different name?
Probably a different name.
Ah, sorry.
That's when it was Carvana.
So hard to know.
yeah. I'm a big fan of just lagers in general.
Yeah.
That's what I like to drink. So anytime I can throw one in a tank and give it some time, I will do that. Wireman, Bark Bills, some other 2-row, a little bit of Carafoam, small little dry hop, nothing crazy, just super refreshing, super crushable, a little bit of hop characteristic to it. Super happy with the way it came out.
it's a crusher.
I'm 2/3 of the way to my 3-beer rule. Which is, if I have a third beer without asking for any other beers, that means I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Good.
And like, I don't want to think about the beer. I just want to enjoy what I have and enjoy what I'm doing. So like,
Exactly.
And whether we get to 3 or not is how many times I have to fix the cameras.
Well, after the cameras go dark, you can always stay. Like we usually don't kick anybody out until 10:30.
Yeah.
But
That's so long, yeah.
so here's the thing, like, this is all very open information. Like I don't really love pilsners. I like a good refreshing lager. I like to be crisp and clean. I like a little bit of that residual sweetness in there, a little bit of that breadiness, but most pilsners kind of hit me the wrong way palate-wise. And Nick came out with this one, and when Nick came in, I said, hey, we've got an ethos here, and we have some cores. There's a couple sacred cows, right? Other than that, like, that's yours. That's your playground. Like, make the things that you're passionate about. And I gave him the keys to the roadmap to do that. I wanted to be able to express himself creatively through the beers, but I also wanted to be able to do things that he is passionate about, skilled in, and that is going to drive him as a brewer. And so I think that the way you have to do that is to take, the creative restraints off. And a lot of people, I hired a professional. Do your fucking job, right? And this is your job. So he did that, and he knocked it out of the park. And I've been almost exclusively for my afternoon pints enjoying this beer. And it doesn't have that. There's a characteristic that I don't like in a lot of pilsners that's absent in this.
He usually thinks they smell like farts.
A lot of times they smell like farts in it, and it's a big turnoff. So and clearly it's a natural byproduct of fermentation, and in a lot of other lagers, and because it's present in all beer at some level, and lagers specifically, in a lot of other lagers it gets scrubbed out, and in pilsners a lot of times even though they're aged longer and they're in the tank for a long time, I don't know if brewers want that characteristic in there, or they just don't take the care to make sure that gets scrubbed out. But this beer is super clean, and like Nick said, it's a crusher. It drinks dry. It's got that nice little hop bitterness that just kind of hangs on your palate after you're done with the sip, and it's just a really, really, like, for Arizona and 116, that's nice. So I'm really enjoying it.
Beers, aren't you? Here's the thing that I want to tell you.
You
Because it
can
is a
drink
trend
this
line.
all day long.
We are actually working with the Cross Sister Cities program.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
And you want to send some of this over and teach them how to make beer.
Exactly. We are going to work on a dinner. It's going to be in a Phoenix brewery, because in that case, the Phoenix Sister City, we're going to open it up to everybody who's got check products.
Check style beers.
And hopefully we'll do some sort of brewery exchange, but we have to figure out a revenue model for that. I'm hoping that anyone listening to
Next to the bankroll, 8 brewers heading over to.
He's really super cool.
I tell you what, he's a nice guy.
I know.
Let me talk to my wife about that first.
If there was some industry that somebody out there knew about, like, oh, they would love to add a couple people to their regular plane trip to Phoenix,
Right.
and vice versa.
Sure.
Because brewery this size is like you can see in Prague, and they would do open fermentation. I know you're not ready for this, but open fermentation of lagers, and it would be kind of fun. So I'm just plugging our little Stokeworks project. That
It's a decent sized course. You do like quasi open.
yeah,
Good.
But
Good. Yeah.
I'm glad you gave him the keys to the playground. He's on the Milky Bars. He's doing he's doing trapeze act right now with this beer. So
That's the whole thing, and so
this is mostly what I say. It's not always about me.
well.
It's about what other people like too. I love this beer.
100%. So, and so, if you got, again, you've been paying attention, you've watched our entire evolution. I used to have a very, very narrow channel that I wanted everything to be in, and and a lot of that is like building a new brand, and you got to have a lot of control mechanisms on it. You have to. You got to make sure that the vision is what you intended it to be. And then as we've grown, as we've evolved, I've loosened those parameters up a lot. And you're absolutely right. It's not about what I want. Do you think I want to have a goddamn smoothie sour on our tap lineup all the time? I do enjoy it, and from time to time. But what I know is I know that our customers absolutely love Blue Box. So we make it, and it was a great idea from Colby. When Colby was our head brewer, and he said, hey, this is crazy. You're gonna hate it. This is what I want to do. And I was like, no, man. Like if that's what you want to do, and you think that's what our customers want, like let's do it. And so slowly over the years, I have loosened up those parameters, and I think what it comes down to is that we have our ethos defined, and as long as we always tap back into that, then we're good. We can do whatever we want, and I don't have to drink all the beers. Quite frankly, I don't want to drink all the beers. This is in 2015.
And I'm getting lucky.
This is in 2015, Matt. This is 2023, Matt. And so, I don't need to drink all the beers.
I'm just poking. And I think, the thing that tells me you're going to continue to be successful is because this is the hardest thing for people to understand. It's about hospitality. It's always been about hospitality. That's why the restaurant kicks ass. That's why the experience kicks ass. And, you can have some things that maybe didn't go the way you wanted, and
Sure.
beers that didn't kind of turn out, or concepts that didn't work. But at the heart of it's hospitality. You always have that. You have a background in that. Before this, you maintain it. So that's the oyster that you're protecting. So I get it. It's just good to see that. But the hardest thing, as you know, is to translate that warmth and that inviting feeling to a packaged good, to a retailer that you've never met before. So
Right, sure.
That's
So-
the challenge, and it's always going to be the challenge.
And this will always be the mothership. This will always be where the heartbeat is, right? And I've said this numerous times.
Always and never words.
So I have always said this. That's true. So we sell one thing in this building, and that's experiences, right? And I know it sounds cheesy, but that experience is made up of quality beer and quality scratch-made food, and then just next level service to our guests. And I think if you have those three components, then you create that experience. And then sure, there's the general atmosphere, and there's the music that we play, and then there's our little punk rock anti-establishment personality that the brand has.
Thread.
Yeah,
Always there somewhere.
It's always there somewhere, and a lot of people that resonates with people, and a lot of people get that and dig that. And so I think that if we just focus on that, then what happens when we get out of Mesa and we get out of the Phoenix market and people are trying our beers for the first time? The first time you try a beer, it's literally just a curiosity purchase, or it's a recommendation from somebody else. You've heard word on the street, so you want to go explore it for yourself.
Street cred?
Street cred, you get it. So I think that when that happens, then it's not about necessarily what we do in this building every day. It's the proof's in the pudding, and the liquid's either going to seal the deal or it's not. And I think that right now we are currently right now with Nick It Down, we are making the best beer that BRI has ever produced, and I feel like I'm ecstatic about it. So I think there's a hell of a lot of opportunity to get new customers.
Aw.
Yeah, well, we've known each other a lot longer than this place. So I hope, I'm just
Oh yeah, for
We
sure.
always never thing is Andrew's thing. And
Always Never is a tough one, man, and it really is. And so we talk about. I think when we use words like always and never, we're talking about what we want to do, right? But again, I don't think always and never should be sacred cows either, right? Like
You may have the BRI amusement park someday, and that's going to be where the big guy is.
I tell you what,
He did say there was an amusement park for sale in Michigan, so
the one that
we can never
the one
find
that I
him.
worked at when I was a kid that had the arcade.
Wow.
It is for sale right now.
If we can't find him, we know where he
I'm sure
is.
they kept up with all the safety measures.
Oh no, it's shit. I think the property value is worth more than what they're asking for it.
Oh, that's exciting.
I
Yeah,
did see a Gravitron on sale for $32,000.
that's it. You get a Gravitron for $32,000. How big's your
Is
backyard?
that the skinny guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Wow,
wild.
I'll never know, man.
I'll never know.
I think it makes me puke just looking at it.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't do skinny stuff.
Well, you don't see. That's the thing. It's not for you, Rob. It's for the neighborhood. you charge $10 a ride, man.
Totally a
Business venture right there.
It's totally a comparison to the way I live my life versus a business. Absolutely. Yeah. I should be more giving. You're right.
Don't let them ride for free. I
It's
mean,
about the
definitely
experience,
sell
Rob.
the
We don't
tickets.
establish that yet.
Sell the tickets.
Yeah, I would
man.
drink a lot more beer.
How many rides is that to recoup your money? How long does that take? Maybe we need a Gravitron at the arcade.
On the roof.
Well, in the back. We got plenty of room.
That's true.
So, but
You
yeah,
have to do some improvements.
So again, just like evolution, always, never. I remember coming into this. So I said we'd never go with a distributor, right? And here we are. I also said, like, coming out of 18 years of franchising, I said I don't want multiple locations. I don't want to do that. I've already done that. Not only have I done that myself, but I've done that for other people too. And I was a multi-unit franchisee in Texas for Cold Stone. I was a multi-unit franchisee and franchisor for Chiba Hut. And then, I ran these giant territories. I didn't want to do that anymore. And so as soon as we opened, people were like, "Hey, when do you open your next one?" Like, can you let the concrete seal? Like, the concrete just needs to set. Can we get that done?
Yeah.
And so, like, people were always asking about what that growth model is going to be. And I think that maybe we played it too cautiously. Maybe we could have grown sooner. I'm glad we didn't. I like the slow, methodical approach to it. This second location that we did, that was never part of the plan. And if we jumped in a time machine and we went back and we talked to 2013, Matt, I go, no, never. I'm not going to do that. But at the time in our company's evolution, and at that moment in time, it made sense, and it still makes sense, and it's great. We'll probably wind up doing another one or two. Maybe not arcade bars, but like other tap rooms throughout the state. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say we're always going to do it. We're always opening new locations, always.
I think that, like, in this day and age, like, it's hard to say that, like, you can't have a successful business on a small scale, like, in a brewery setting. But volume.
You have to define your own success.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. 100%. Do you want to be a millionaire, or do you want to be somebody that just lives comfortably?
Hey, let's open a brewery. We can be thousandaires.
Yeah, thousandaires. You're never going to make, unless you are pumping out hundreds of thousands of barrels a year, like, you're not going to be a millionaire.
So
This is why I say, like, it depends.
there's a model. There's a model for that.
There is.
There's definitely a model, but
There are models for it. I'm just saying
So,
that, like, there's different routes for it.
there's an economy of scale, and then what it really comes down to, and this has been hard on everyone that I've talked to. 2020 knocked the wind out of everyone, and it was rough. And people have literally had to rebuild from it. So
Tried moving during 2020.
I can't believe you were allowed to travel.
I didn't know I was.
So, because the state said stay at home. So I'm just gonna have a real moment with you guys. So, in 2020, I had absolutely the hardest year of my life, mentally, emotionally, the whole thing. I thought I was going to lose my business. That I built from scratch. I had my heart and soul into it. I thought I was going to lose all this. I thought I was going to unemploy everyone that ever worked for me. It was devastating. And so I shifted gears really quickly into survival. Because I'm like, it's not going to crash. I'm not going to let it happen. I don't care what happens, that's not happening. And then, guys, I got stuck in survival mode. And so survival mode is just be cautious, don't take any risks, cover your bases, let's focus on us, and I retracted everything. And that was literally just survival. And then I had an epiphany earlier this year, and I was like, if you don't snap the fuck out of that, then you're just gonna be right here forever. Be all right. And so I thought, okay, let's shift gears. Let's go from survive to thrive. And going from survive to thrive means that you have to grow again. And so you got to start looking at how can we grow? Well, let's throw some shit at the wall. Let's see what sticks. Let's take some risks. Let's spend some money. whether we have it or not, let's spend some money. Let's do some things. Let's invest in things. And it just became apparent to me that if we didn't invest back into the brewery and more people, then we couldn't grow. And if we invested in that and we were growing through production, we had to find a way to sell it. Now I got two choices. I need to try the thing that I've already tried 3 times with lackluster to absolutely horrible results. Sorry. Or I can partner with a distributor who's been courting me for 8 years, and I've told no, love playing hard to get. No, never. And then we can take that and we can take all this energy and turn it into growth momentum. And that's really where we're at. It comes out of literal survival instincts to just make sure that our roof is over our head and we're still in business, to be able to get out of that fog, which in my opinion took me way too long to snap out of. And I'm one of the most self-aware people you know. Would that be accurate? I'm telling you.
You beat the shit out of yourself constantly. Yes.
Constantly. Like, I'm the guy in the mirror is my worst critic and my worst enemy. But also, like, probably my best friend too, right? Because he's never fucking lies. So
That's why Matt and I get along.
yeah. Hey, boo. So that's kind of where we're at today, is coming out of all of that. Kind of a dark mental headspace for me for a couple of years, just trying to make sure that this thing that I created, that came out of my head and my heart and my soul, and clearly there's been a lot of people that have contributed, that have helped along the way to make this thing what it is. But like it came so close to literally just collapsing in front of me. I just want to do anything I can to make sure that that's never even a thought in my head.
So diversify.
Diversify.
And so have you
Yeah, so we're gonna start making milkshakes.
Have you ever come down
We're doing
and
Timber.
NASCAR tape?
Nope. Nope.
I sent a C&D to one.
That's not the same.
To get that 2 levels.
Yeah, because
Thank you, Walker.
if you're spending money you don't have, just
Right, just do whatever you want. It's cool. Funny story about that is that they didn't ever do anything in the States. So,
But
yeah.
I have noticed that you found some time over the last couple of years to go back to nature and spend some time in the woods.
Yeah, I need it.
Do you think that helps?
Yeah, it's grounding for me, man. That's my zen shit. If I get out on a trout stream and I'm just throwing a fly rod, I am not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about planning. I'm not thinking about anything except for an eagle flying over my head and a trout coming out of the water. And that's it. So a lot of people kind of equate that to like golf, and they like to play golf because when they're playing golf, that's all they're doing.
Does
And
the
they've
eagle
got-
catch the trout?
Oh my god.
in nature, yes. In my story, no. Because you're not supposed to shoot an eagle, because it's America's national
federal
bird.
offense.
But it's a federal offense. But if that fucker's coming after my trout, we're gonna have issues. So I do have an amazing eagle story for you if you want to hear. So yeah, that's very grounding for me. And a lot of people talk about golf like that. They like to go golfing because if they're not concentrated on their swing and their game, everything falls apart, and they take the game seriously. But like in order to channel that, like you have to be in the moment. And so yeah, when I get up into the woods and I'm in better weather and I'm in nature, I'm surrounded by trees, and I'm on like just the tightest little Arizona trout stream that probably shouldn't hold any fish at all, but it does. And you find that little pocket where there's a trout in it. That's just some of the best stuff in the whole world for me. I love it. I would, if I didn't have work to do, I'd just go up to the Ren or up to the White Mountains every other day and just keep going.
Oh, this is insane. You were relating a story, and I remember talking to you and seeing your photos from Michigan. And you do these things now closer to home.
Well, I do it. It literally, if I go someplace and I know there's trout water, I will usually pack my rig and I'll go grab some fishing. So when I do go home, when I go home to the greatest state in the entire union,
Wisconsin.
You
Wisconsin.
gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not. But
You're outvoted 3-0.
I don't want
On Wisconsin.
I don't want to think that. Oh, okay, cool. You guys have a badger. We've got a fucking Wolverine. Who's gonna win in that fight? Badger. Never. Wolverine's just an angry badger. So yeah, when I go home and we go up to the cabin in the UP, and the UP is just absolutely dense
Oh,
with
the part that
trash.
should be Wisconsin.
Yeah, upper Wisconsin.
I think you guys keep referring to Western Michigan like it's something. Yeah, I don't get it. South Canada.
This is great.
Yeah.
We should do this more often.
I never doubted that.
Finally, he feels good.
Early enough to not.
Every morning, he literally when I accepted the job, he's like, "You just have to sign this. You were announced Wisconsin." I'm like, "Nope, I don't want the job."
So I'm gonna release it. I'm gonna let the world know now, and you won't ever see this until I need to cram it up your ass.
Yeah.
But when I set up Nick's business email, I wrote myself an email from Nick that glorified the state of Michigan and denounced the state of Wisconsin, and it's signed Nick Ravane. So I have that at my disposal whenever I need to use it. I haven't had to use it yet, but it's there. It's waiting.
Don't make me
it's
send it
on.
to your mom.
It's on. I will send that
So
to you
that's
tomorrow.
excellent, and all that's just completely blown away now. We recorded this in No, but I wrote another email.
Podcast.
And then I wrote another email that says that
Edit
this
that.
podcast-
Edit that. So anyway, yeah, I'll fish up north. Brandon and I during the pandemic we shut everything down. We flew up to Idaho for like 4 days, and we literally packed all our camping gear and checked it on the plane, and went up there and went fly fishing up on the Snake River, and it's good stuff. If I can go fly fishing somewhere, I'm on it.
I drove my Jeep all the way to Canada, and I got to the border, and they said, "You bringing any wood across the border?" I'm like, "You don't have any up here?" Like, what do you? I know they're looking for like bugs. Or something.
You're like, don't look at my pants,
Oh, wait.
Also has bugs.
officer. Yikes! I got a tick on me in Michigan. Wasn't in my pants though.
Yeah. Oh.
You don't want those.
They don't have it up here.
You can have Lyme
No,
disease
no.
from that. It's dangerous.
Well, in the Northeast you get Lyme disease. There's a couple different kinds of ticks.
There are a few ticks in Wisconsin.
That you can get the Lyme disease from?
Yeah. Deer ticks.
I thought you couldn't get
Wood
it from
ticks.
deer
There's wood ticks and deer ticks.
Yeah. And you get Lyme
That's the
disease
title of the
from
episode. Everything you know about
Ticks and
ticks.
deer ticks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a tattoo you don't want. The centric ring of tick bite.
Yeah. And I'm just super stoked that we don't have them here. But
I think you do.
We do.
do we?
Yeah.
We do. They're not very
They're not as
common.
aggressive or. I don't know.
First prevalent. Okay. So when I just went up fly fishing, we're up in the White Mountains. I'm not going to tell you the location because it's a top secret, very well producing fishing hole, right? Yeah, I can't let anybody know my secret spot. But along the bank of this creek, there's just wild hops growing everywhere. Neo-Mexicanus everywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw Marshall's post. Marshall from Simple Machine was up picking wild hops this week. I know exactly where he was at.
And you're like, I hope he didn't bring his fishing pole.
I don't think he did.
He doesn't fish. I know.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
Oh, good.
He's saying-
Good. So he was up there just picking hops. So
Yes.
my former GM, Zach Forsyth, and I, several years ago, we took a little overnight trip up there and we did some trout fishing. And we discovered where these hops were. And I'm sure they're in multiple locations up there. But they are just growing everywhere. They are very, very full, big, healthy plants with good size cones on them. And so we brought back like a couple bags and we threw them into a cask, and I think we stuffed a Randall full of them. I don't know, good on those guys for brewing with them. Good on you guys. I don't know that I would want to do that, but
A lot of hops.
it's a lot of hop,
It's a lot,
because
man.
there's not a lot going on in those wild hops either. Like there's not a lot of lutein. So and so it's a lot of vegetable. But I know they've done it a few times, so I'm sure they got it figured out. We've only done like one wet hop beer here, and it turned out great. It was a pale ale, but a week, maybe a week and a half into it, it started tasting very green and grassy. And I don't think I don't really like fresh hop beers, but I think it's a really cool harvest thing. I think it's a really awesome gimmick.
Customers seem to love it and be excited about it.
Where I come from?
I'd rather have Helen hops.
Where I come from, Surly Wet is like, oh my god, freak out, and
Yeah.
like I'm just like I don't get it.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion. Like
they're very muted, but again, that is absolutely nothing negative towards Marshall or Simple Machine. I'm sure that they've got a thing that they love to do, that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's amazing. I haven't had it, but I know for us the way that we do things, I would feel that like wild hops up there would be
The wet
a
hop
big,
and fresh hop
big
is-
endeavor and risky.
It's hard. I'm holding up judgment until I get the opportunity to go to the Pacific Northwest and then all goes on, and I can have like 12 different examples in one day. I think it's something that you need to have a wide, because even if you like something, you're not going to remember all the tasting notes of it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
People's palate memories aren't anywhere close to being as good as they think they are.
I have
better
been-
last year. Last
I
year
have
was so
been
much better.
encouraged.
and it's
We
like
put on a wet hop festival because, and this is the statement, now that we have 10 or 12 years of breweries doing wet hop beers, which means there's a wet hop festival. And I just don't know how that sucks.
I don't think
Like a festival where people buy tickets and go to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I mean,
know
like,
if there's
like a
up.
tap takeover at someone's place wherever they advertise it. We're all gonna have our wet hop beer there. That's amazing.
Or like
Sounds fun.
some kind of passport card where people go to different breweries and try the wet hop beer. Like that could be neat, and that drives sales back to the breweries. But like a festival, like as a beer consumer, before I opened my brewery, I don't know that I would sign. I don't know that I would buy a ticket for that. But I don't know.
Speaking of
not everyone.
Some people are passionate about fresh hop.
Speaking
They
of
really like it.
foraged beers, do you guys do the prickly pear thing?
So when we started, well, I mean, we make beers with Prickly Bear, right? We
Yeah.
make Prick. In the first couple years we made that, yeah, we went out to the desert with first year without tongs, second year with tongs.
how long have you lived here?
Listen, we're
You don't normally just go out and like handle.
I've never said that we're like the smartest people in the world, but we do learn quickly. So yeah, we went out there the first year and we're just picking prickly pears, and then just processing all of that is just an enormous undertaking. It's an absolute pain in the ass. And so we stopped doing that, but we do get our prickly pear puree. It is locally sourced. It's an Arizona product, and so I still feel good about that. It's locally picked. It's locally sourced. We're just not going to put the labor into it anymore. The only one that we really still put like that kind of labor into anymore is Peach Lolly, and that's one of those ones where that is a harvest
You
beer.
get like Schnipp farms,
Yeah.
I don't. People don't know this. That farm is the first commercially available peach available in the country because of the climate. They're
Yeah.
the first of the season.
Sure.
Little factoid for you.
Well, they have these. We always get a very specific fruit out there, and it's called the Florida Prince, and it's a very very small peach. So you don't have the same ratio you do with a large peach. You get less flesh, right?
Right.
But what you get more of is in the ratio. You get a lot of skin compared to the fruit. So we get all the fruit sugars, we get all the deep, dank peach flavors, and then we get all that acidic brightness and tannin in those skins. And then those skins have got all that nice blushing on them. So it actually colors the beer a little bit just from the skins. And it's just a great beer that we do every year for Father's Day, and I don't think we'll ever not do that.
The only reason I ask is because in my own yard, I get enough to make a bunch of prickly pear cocktails on mom's place. She can probably pull down 30 pounds of prickly pears.
Right.
And I saved them for a brewery, and they never picked them up. And then there's nothing like picking up 30 pounds of rotting.
That wasn't us, was
No,
it?
it wasn't.
Okay, good. Because it sounds like something we would do.
No. I won't name them.
Okay,
It
that's fine.
It was a
As long as it wasn't us, and then if it was us, my bad.
Like there would be like if there was a brewery Olympics, it'd be like trying to get all these prickly pears to the trash can without the bottom falling out and impaling
Flies.
Gross.
They do turn pretty quick. So like the first year that we started messing with those, we our tactic, and man, I hope OSHA or the fire department's not listening to this. but we would just fill a sink.
They're all in Kansas for convention.
Fantastic. Also, come in and inspect. We're not doing it today. So we would fill a sink, a stainless steel sink full of prickly pears, and then we would just douse it in alcohol and ISO, and then we would just torch it. And so we'd have
I
like
literally was going to ask you, setting these fires on fire.
6-foot flames coming off the sink. It's all blue flames, It's not. We're not like dumping smoke or anything like that, but yeah, there's like a 5-6 foot blue flame coming off of our sink, and then that would die down, and we'd go and get the prickly pears, and there'd be no pickers on them. And so that was the way that we figured out how to do that, because for that first year, like our mitts were just packed with.
I have I just throw them on the grill and then I have a blowtorch to get some.
Fantastic.
No, it's perfect.
You have prickly pears want to survive.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to consume them, you need to be a little aggressive. You gotta be a little aggressive.
Hey, fellas, this could go on for days.
Yeah. Reel it in.
Yeah.
Reel it in and direct us.
Hey, Angie Bauman, we
Wow.
never did that thing.
Sometimes I like organic conversations.
We never did that.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, cool.
We usually start
It's great at organic
we just start a
conversations.
show.
Oh, I know.
We usually start a show with either he says K-Rob or I say Angie Bauman. We never did it, so Angie Bauman.
Hey, Rob.
He did, but I got that.
You edit that into the front.
Yes.
Snipe it and just pop it on the front.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got anything else for us? I don't want to keep you.
No.
I know you got a long scooty ride.
For every minute of a podcast is like 5 minutes of editing, so not really good.
How long is this going?
It's
An hour?
It's just an hour.
We had a
Hour
20-minute potty beer break too.
Yeah,
maybe 10
minutes. Some of it's not easy.
Did you guys follow? Oh, you took your mic into the bathroom, didn't you?
I did.
Sounds like pee.
All right. Well,
Anything else?
I'm glad I could ruin it.
No, you're fine.
I know.
You're fine.
Hey, this is not a beer podcast. It's a podcast about beer. That's all I need to say.
I like that. Nick, you got anything?
Everything in Arizona is trying to kill you.
There you go.
What was your hometown in Wisconsin?
Rhinelander.
Rhinelander. Oh my
Home
gosh.
of the Hode eggs.
I have family in Wausau.
No kidding.
Not much any longer, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wausau. Wausau.
Are you guys just
Schofield.
making up names of towns?
Yeah.
Wauwatosa.
They're
Wauwatosa.
all Indian names. Like,
Hey, did
Minocqua.
you hear that
Tomahawk.
they're brewing Heineken? Is that Heineken in La Crosse again?
no, old style. Old style.
Brewing
Yeah.
old style in La Crosse again.
We're in the city.
I haven't been there.
Let me tell you, I do enjoy a crispy old style at a
The
Chicago Cubs game with a Chicago dog in my hand.
black sign I have at my house.
Nasty.
What? No, I've been to a spring training game. It's nice.
The black sign I have at my house is from that brewery because it used to be a distributor.
From that brewery up in Pine, Arizona.
City brewery in La Crosse. So I have a giant black sign. It used to be an outdoor sign.
That's
Nice.
a childhood memory of mine.
pretty
Was
cool.
being in La Crosse and seeing the giant silos that were painted like,
6-pack.
yeah. And I remember
6-pack of PBR? Or what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I just read an article.
They did a similar thing in Seattle with the old Rainier, the silos, and so like those are all painted like cans as well, I think. But they converted that whole brewery and the silos into condos or apartments, whatever. Pretty
Anyway,
cool.
we're fading out. Music is playing and we're just kind of fading out.
Fantastic.
It's getting dark, the screen. And,
You're getting sleepy.
yeah.
You're forced with Heather Locklear.
We're inviting everyone from Kansas now to listen in and
Yeah.
fire marshals.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Nothing else? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, the National Association of State Legislators meeting in Indianapolis.
Oh, I don't care.